From Bloomberg, U.S. to pause issuing worker visas for truck drivers, Rubio says. The U.S. will pause issuance of worker visas for commercial truck drivers, the latest in a series of Trump administration moves to clamp down on foreign workers, Secretary of State Marco Rubio said Thursday. Effective immediately, we are pausing all issuance of worker visas for commercial truck drivers, he wrote. The increasing number of foreign drivers operating large tractor-trailer trucks on U.S. roads is endangering American lives and undercutting the livelihoods of American truckers. The Secretary of State's post didn't include statistics nor specific examples detailing the nature of the threats. However, the move comes days after a deadly August 12th crash on the Florida Turnpike by a driver that was accused of making an illegal U-turn. The Department of Homeland Security said that the driver of the rig was a migrant from India in the country illegally. The Trump administration has repeatedly sought to tighten immigration rules for commercial vehicle drivers. In May, the Department of Transportation said it would up enforcement of an English language requirement for drivers following an April executive order from Donald Trump. These things seem so obvious, and it blows my mind that there are so many people that just don't jump right on and say, yes, obviously, this is something
This guy was illegal from India?
From India.
Okay, and we're surprised that these people can't drive. They don't have traffic laws. Look at any video.
Point.
Look at Anthony Bourdain visiting India. Look at the B-roll footage that they take of the streets in India. They don't have traffic laws.
They bring their, I hate to say it, but they bring their third world, shithole country.
Why would you hate to say that?
So
I love to say that. That's true.
Well, it's like I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it's happening in every major city, and unfortunately, it's the reality. So when the Somalians come in to Minnesota, they turn Minnesota into little Somalia. Okay, they even changed the flag.
Yeah.
When the people come into Texas and the southern states from every single Central South American country that they're looking to escape, when they get here, they just turn it into that country. And then the Indians, they don't have any traffic laws. So what do to our roads? They turn them into Indian roads. And that's not a racist thing. That's not a profiling thing. It's just reality. And the reason I hate to say it is because now we have to live with it. And they're all here. How do you undo it all? Trump's going to have to round them up and deport all of them back. Every single one of them.
It's like, and they can barely drive the tuk-tuks around in India. They're smashing it. It's like a demolition derby, and they're trying to wheel an 18-wheeler around. I mean, it's ridiculous.
I have noticed that the truck drivers are some of the worst drivers.
Yeah, they're getting worse.
Bad.
Me and Mike are driving from New Jersey to here, and it was like, what is going on? And we're driving past everyone. We're like, no, definitely not American. No, definitely not American.
We were like,
what's going on here? It's like when two tractor trailers are going on a highway at the same speed in two lanes, not allowing any cars to go around you, I think there's a problem.
Yeah, go to Love's, like anywhere along I-81. It looks like a FEMA camp. It's crazy.
There are no white truck drivers.
No.
Snow white truck drivers.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
I mean, they're DEIing everything.
And in these states, like in California, Gavin Newsom said he was something about him with the truck drivers, like laxing the laws. So they become a truck driver in California, but they're going all over the state. So it's the way that Gavin Newsom or anybody in a liberal state can just fuck it up for the whole country because then they just go everywhere and cause accidents.
Yeah, this falls right on Gavin Newsom and on California and Gavin Newsom's policies, right? Yeah. This guy got into the country in California. He got his CDL from California. Yeah. And so in my opinion, the people that have died because of this, it's directly falls right on Gavin Newsom's shoulders.
Yeah. I'm actually curious, like how does a CDL work with state by state, does it differ by state? Is it harder to be
process?
Yeah, and I think that there is some amount of standardization when it comes to the test. But if I understand correctly, people in California, if you're a foreigner, if you don't speak English, they will actually provide someone to help you. That was one of the super chats we got.
I got messages. Yesterday. I got text messages coming into the show right now from law enforcement, literally watching the show that I know who are seeing me on Timcast right now, and they're saying I pull over people who don't understand the road signs.
Yeah.
It's like when they get pulled over, the thing is, you say, oh, what were you doing? You're texting or you're having a couple to drink or the typical American things, right? Now they go, I don't even know what the sign said.
Right. It's not that they're like
so bad.
They're not like crazy. Like they don't want to hurt anybody.
You know the signs.
They come from a culture that doesn't care about order.
Right.
Yes.
They don't. like really register that in their minds, and they never will.
It's now, like with Mad Max Curry Road and all our roads. When's the last time you heard a woman driver joke? I mean, women are off the hook now because there's these people everywhere taking YouTube.
That's the worst thing about it.
They have become middle of the road, the women drivers.
Yeah,
the Asian drivers aren't even at the
they're
bottom
good
of the
now.
totem
Yeah,
pole
they're like,
anymore.
I'll take one.
Yeah.
Why not?
Now we have the Indians, the Middle Eastern drivers, the Somalian pirates. Okay,
They're doing like burnouts.
yeah, it's not good.
And I'll just say, when you look back, when you zoom out and you just see this whole thing happen, really what's going to happen is the real truck drivers, the American truck drivers, are going to be affected because there's going to be a time with all these, the EVs happening. There's going to be that time when. Look at these stats. Look how many people die from trucks. They have to all be automated. And now our biggest economy, it's all going to go away.
Yeah, no more truck drivers.
That's coming no matter.
No more lot lizards. What are they going to do?
Yeah,
that's a good thing.
Lot lizards.
Yeah, look, I've spent a lot of
can't
time.
automate those.
I've spent a lot of time touring. The lot lizards are not something that you want. You want that to stop. You want that to end.
Some conviction behind.
You want to put an end to that. I promise you.
Okay, well, that's good then. It's a.
But no, to your point, the driverless truckers, that's coming regardless. It doesn't matter. I mean, that is going to be something in the future. I imagine within 20 years there will be some congressperson that submits a bill that says we need to outlaw human beings driving trucks.
Under the pretense of what he's saying is that it's these people who shouldn't even be in the country in the first place, who don't know how to drive in the first place, and then they use that as the pretense to get these driverless trucks and destroy an industry that should remain for American white workers.
And the craziest thing is California, Gavin Newsom will be the first person to blame a red state whenever there's a shooting and be like, oh, well, their gun laws are the reason that this happened.
Yeah.
And then they're issuing CDLs like it's like a library card.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Excuse me. The whole like speaking English, to your point earlier about like not being able to read the signs and stuff like that. That's a point that we made on the show, 6 months ago, and it actually happened to be like right before Trump said that they was making an executive order. It's like one of the things that I think would be really important is to do all that we can to make sure that the federal government doesn't produce any paperwork or any kind of form in any other language other than English. And if you can't fill out the form yourself, not with an aid provided by the federal government, but if you can't fill out the form yourself, well, that means that you can't get whatever job or assistance it is that you're trying to get.
And the companies like Uber need to be fined for allowing illegals to drive Americans, because I recently I already knew that was a widespread issue, and oftentimes like they have a citizen make an account and then their whole like family of illegals is using it. And I had an Uber driver recently who I was directing when I showed up at the location, and I was like, can you turn left over there? And he literally didn't know the words right and left.
So bad.
He was like, I was like, do you speak English? He was like, no, mommy.
Good Lord.
Told you why he was hitting on you?
He didn't know right and left. So, people are going to die because of this.
Already have.
Also, there was time
have.
to prevent this. There was time to prevent the automation of these jobs. I remember several years ago, like many years before this was really a popular conversation, I think Tucker Carlson and Ben Shapiro were having a discussion about the automation of truck driving jobs. And Tucker was basically on the side of like, we need to regulate before these jobs get replaced. Yeah. And then Ben Shapiro basically said, well, that's just capitalism, baby. That's creative destruction. We just have to accept it.
He supported it. What a surprise.
Well, which is a better option though? Having a bunch of immigrants that can't speak English and can't read the road signs, or having trucks that actually can follow the road signs, which is better. I mean, it's clearly better to have automation as opposed to.
It's not really. That's a false dichotomy. We can get rid of them. I thought everyone was talking about how we can just do things and like we're not doing anything.
I mean,
we're not getting rid of these.
We are going to have this crunch as the population declines. Like there is a shortage of truckers. There has been a shortage of truckers for a long time. And then as time goes on, we're going to have massive shortages in these industries. And from the government's perspective, they need, just for tax recuperation purposes, it's like, okay, we have two options really, is automation. And that can hopefully increase wages for the jobs that are still out there, or you flood the country with the third world. And the third world
people are a net cost on the welfare system, though.
I agree, but they're never going to learn. The government's never going to learn their lesson.
Regardless of,
the entire West has voted year after year. Every Western country you go, they vote for less immigration, and it never happens.
Regardless of what option or what other option you get, I will take automation over flooding the country with third world immigrants every single time, without a question.
I would take that, but in the ideal world, we would get something happening that would be in the next 3 years. We absolutely just round up every single person, and everyone always says, "Oh, but we want to get the criminals out." But a lot of these people, they're not criminals.
I have a better idea.
Be here working.
I have a better idea than rounding people up.
To penalize the company.
Yeah, make it illegal to rent to people that are and if you own a company and you hire illegals, you lose your company.
You're absolutely right.
And that's something that
would dry up and they would leave immediately.
Democrats say all the time, why don't we ever go after the companies? And they're right.
Yes,
they're
right.
Absolutely right.
Way.
We should absolutely. Yeah, and I've been saying this on the show for a while. Go after the person that owns this company, that hired this truck driver. He should lose his company. All of his trucks should be auctioned off to his competitors.
He should bear the consequence.
He should go to jail
for the absolute carnage.
Yeah, even worse than jail, he should be sent to India just for like a day.
But I mean, fine,
for 1 day.
Yeah, I'd be like, solitary, please. Gee.
But no, because the thing is, like, you talk about rounding people up, and if you have people having to deal with, if you have Karen watching ICE rounding up Miguel, she's going to freak out, right? She's going to say, "Oh, you're doing these terrible things." So the real compassionate option is make it so incredibly hard for illegal immigrants that are here to stay here. Make sure they can't find a job. Make sure they can't find a place to live. If you make it incredibly hard for them to live here, then they will leave. And that's the best option. So you don't have to have ICE fighting with people. You don't have to have videos of ICE rounding people up, put up on the internet, and then people go after the ICE agents and stuff. That, like, it's just the smartest and most clean way to do it. Okay. What are you thinking?
Great idea is penalizing the companies. I agree with that, but it's not mutually exclusive with what the Trump voters were promised. And what was it, $150 billion given to ICE in the bill?
Yes.
For what? To move these people, to take them and move them out of the country.
I'm not saying that we shouldn't. I'm not saying that we shouldn't have people rounded up. What I'm saying is that if you actually want to get rid of, all of the people, the 10, 20 million
in a way that will last longer than just his current term. Yes.
Yeah, that will. If you pass legislation that says if you hire illegals or you rent a place to live to an illegal, you risk losing your property.
I'm just saying it's not mutually exclusive, and the time to deport people is way before the midterms, which is why I was so frustrated with people saying, like, it's only been 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. It's only been this long. Like, you have to start immediately.
Every day.
Because
and for the record,
basically, as soon as the calendar year ends, the only thing anybody's going to be thinking about is the midterms.
And everybody gets like
we can't deport anyone, but we're already not deporting anyone.
I actually, for the record, you talk about the ICE videos. I kind of like those videos, where they're all screaming and they're going crazy.
And it's like, this is another.
I voted for that.
Trump cares way too much. He pays way too much attention to the media. What is he so afraid of?
I understand what you're saying, but you're not thinking about the perspective of people that are in Washington and how the actual process is done. Right, like I know I would.
You're like, well,
it would
the
be great.
compassionate option, so that the Karens don't see these videos that make them cry, is for us to do this. Well, the more compassionate option is having compassion toward the American people.
Oh,
I mean,
it's like it.
Look, the American people are going to vote for
aggrieved.
The American people don't like to see that. That's why I'm saying to not have those videos go up, because that will make people that are a little on the queasy side when they see people get wrapped up, that will make them change their opinion. And you don't want them to change their opinion. You want to get the people out. The most important thing is getting the illegals to leave. And the best way to make sure that you can get the illegals to leave is to not have those videos up, because then you'll have people say, "Ooh, I don't want to see that. I'll go vote for the Democrat because that hurt my feelings." You don't want that. Like, that's the reason why you don't want those videos going up. And whether or not, like, I know that you don't have that same kind of queasiness, and people around here don't have that same kind of queasiness, but there are a lot of people that do, and they're swing voters. So if they're swing voters and they're the ones that are queasy, you need to make sure that they don't lose the stomach for this. And the best way to do that is to not have videos of ICE agents wrapping people up.
To his point, they could have avoided the high school graduations. That was not the best look.
It's true.
There's something to be said about flooding the zone, though, where it's like you just go crazy, like just really go like mask off the first few months, like go to the high schools, like just throw like random kids in vans and stuff. Because it's like then by the time the midterms, seriously, no, hear me out.
Yeah, the cycle changes.
Because by the time the midterms come, like Rogan's already thrown his fit and everything, and then it's like then we're good. Like everyone's at ease. Everyone's like, okay,
and everyone always says when they see that video, they always say, "Well, I really want the deportations, but start with the criminals." And they say, "Okay, start." So you're right. Yeah. So you know what? Yeah. Well, in the first 2 months, 3 months, they should have flooded the zone.
Yes.
Beat the shit out of everybody. Deported them out as viciously as possible. And the attention span of these Karens are so short that they would forget all about that and be mad about whatever, the Democrats talk about abortion rights.
And I think they're doing that to some degree because it's like there was this video yesterday of some guy in D.C. getting dragged out of his car. And like the libs freaked out for like a few hours. And then, of course, it came out he was a pedophile, obviously. That just happens all the time.
It's like
but it's like I'm seeing the Yeah, you're not seeing as many Kilmars now. You're not seeing as strong of a reaction for the left. I think there's an aspect where they're demoralized. Like that's 100% true. But I think there also is an aspect where the average American, like the people like Joe Rogan's, the guys that came out early and were really upset about the deportations, they're kind of like whatever. They're used to it now. Their stomachs have adjusted because like the reality is Americans are very vibes-based people. Like, okay, yes, polling-wise, Americans want mass deportations, but also Americans don't want to watch videos like Phil's saying of people getting thrown around. And so it's like the only way to really do it is rip the Band-Aid, flood the zone. I think that is actually what's happened. I think we're past the Kilmars. I don't think we're going to get many of those stories anymore.
I don't think that any of us around the table are arguing about what needs to be done or what should happen. It's just a matter of how it's going to be done and the velocity, apparently, of how fast it's going to happen. And to be honest with you, look, I don't know exactly the details about how funding works. The argument that you heard from Capitol Hill was that the big beautiful bill needed to be passed because the funding was in it. They didn't have the money to pay ICE to do this stuff. And if that's the case, then nothing could be done before that was passed.
When did the big beautiful bill pass?
3 weeks, 4 weeks ago, a month ago.
I mean, 4th.
It was July 4th. You got through July 4th, so it's been over a month. They got $150 billion now, so it should be.
Well, we are seeing. I mean, they're opening up massive complexes every week now. I mean, we've seen there's 2 in Florida now. Nebraska, they're building a massive one in Indiana. So the bed space is increasing. They're ramping up. Like the deportations are finally starting to head north again.
Why do they need beds? Like just take them and put them on a plane.
You do have the process to. I mean, I hate it. I wish you could just build a slingshot and launch them. But like you do have to process them. You got to figure out who they are, what their names are, like where they're from. And that requires bed space to detain them for a temporary amount of time. And then also now you see a proposal. Like there was a story, I think it was on NBC News today, where Kirsty Noem is exploring just buying planes outright because contracting these planes, chartering these planes is very expensive. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's like if we just had our own fleet, we could be launching these out every day.
It's great.
It makes you
could sell her watch and she could buy it.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.